I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Wanna be ready when joy comes back to me. Been down too hearted. Been down too hearted. Been down hearted. I won't come down for long. 'Cause I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Wanna be ready when joy comes back to me. Well, I wanna be ready. Wanna be ready, yes. I wanna be ready when joy comes back to me. Wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Wanna be ready when joy comes back to me.
Come into the circle of love and justice. Come into the community of mercy, holiness, and health. Come, and you shall know peace and joy. We will now light the chalice.
Let this flame be to us a symbol of the wholeness we seek. Its brightness dispelling gloom, lighting a path to faith and hope. Its glow reminding us of the sacred bonds that link us to all living things. Its radiance calling us to cast the light of freedom, justice, and peace upon all the world.
Whoever you are, wherever in the world you are, whomever you love, for this hour you are part of this beloved congregation and you are welcome here. We worship today on the ancestral lands of the Wampanoag people. I am Carol Robison, and Elaine Stefanski and I will be leading the service today, brought to you by the Music Diversity Task Force, a new this year subunit of the Worship and Music Committee. Our minister, Reverend Dr. Catherine Cullen, is taking a long delayed and much deserved vacation to California to be with family and to see her great-grandson Noah for the first time in over a year and a half. Having just returned from visiting my own grandkids in Minneapolis, I can well imagine how much she is enjoying her time away, and I hope she is not thinking at all about us this morning. We'll carry on without her. Reverend Catherine will be back next Sunday, June 20th, for our annual Flower Communion service. This year, you have the choice of attending in person on the front lawn or by Zoom. This is the last regular, as in 10 a.m. service until in-gathering in September. Don't forget, if you are attending in person, to bring your flower. Our lay-led fishermen services begin on Sunday, June 27th at 8:30 a.m. We will begin on Zoom and transition to in-person later on as deemed advisable by public health officials. Keep an eye on the weekly newsletter for updates. Let's see, virtual coffee hour will begin immediately after today's closing music. Please consider joining a breakout room, the breakout room that pops up, a chance to catch up with your First Parish friends. But you'll have to bring your own coffee and coffee cake. Also today, Two members of the governing board will stay in the main room, Cindy Ladd-Fiorini and Sally DeLisa, to talk with anyone who would like to know what's going on as far as church governance is concerned, and to ask any questions you might have. So if you would like to talk with Sally and Cindy, don't join a breakout room, just stay right where you are as the service ends. The church's theme this month is play. What could be more soul lifting than play as we say goodbye to one of the most fraught years in our lifetimes and turn towards summer? We are excited to have storyteller Diane Edgecombe with us today to explore the topic, an open invitation to play. And we will get back to our theme in a moment. But first, on a more serious note, today is Race Amnesty Day by proclamation of Duxbury's Board of Selectmen and Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker. To mark the day, Duxbury's Interfaith Council asks us to do two things. First, stop at the Bradford House on Tremont Street, next door to Catherine's parsonage, and sign the Race Amity banner you will find on the front lawn. And second, we are asked to offer an interfaith prayer as a part of our service today. Please join me in the spirit of prayer. Holy One, as you reside in each of us and among us, between us, we ask this day especially that you empower us with the will and courage to forge new bonds of love, justice, compassion, forgiveness, and truth. As your children, we are sisters and brothers to each other, so look upon your human family with love, help us break down the barriers we've built, be present in our work toward amity and unity, so that as we develop deeper consciousness of our ultimate oneness, we walk with you and each other in remedying the problems of a fractured world and in building a future of unity in diversity. On Duxbury Race Amity Day 2021, toward this we pray. May it be so. Amen.
Juneteenth will be celebrated across the nation and as a town holiday next Saturday in recognition of June 19th, 1865, as the end of slavery in the United States. 6 members of our Soul Singers group got together last week at long last, after not singing together for a whole year and a half, and commemorated the event in song. At the end, we all were surprised. Wait for it. We have come too far, we can't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice, we are freedom bound. We have come too far, we can't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice, we are freedom bound. We have come too far, we can't turn around. We'll flood the streets with justice, we are freedom bound. Listen to the bells.
Serendipity is a wonderful thing. Let's turn now to our theme, play. I begin with a reading by Reverend Scott Taylor, who happens to be not only the mastermind between Soul Matters, where a lot of wonderful resources come from for our worship services and for our small groups and RE program too, but is also our consultant on envisioning the sanctuary for the 21st Century Task Force. So a number of us have gotten to know Scott pretty well over the last few months. This is a poem entitled "We All Are Playing." We all are playing it up, playing it down, trying to play fair, playing for keeps, playing favorites, playing it safe, sometimes too safe. He plays hardball, they're playing house. I'm playing it by ear, or at least learning to play it by ear. She's tired of playing second fiddle. He's playing right into their hands. Please, God, can't we all just throw out the playbook and start again? Sometimes we're just played out. It's not always bad to play possum. And what about playing with fire? Let's hope so, friends. Don't you want to feel again that burning within and let it loose? In this moment, may it begin.
Carolyn, we can't hear you.
Carolyn, unmute.
Sorry about that. I thought I did. So
Yeah, could you start over, please?
yes. So I'm Carolyn DeCristofano. Some of you may know me already, but I was asked to introduce Diane, our speaker today, and I'm really excited to do so. She's an award-winning storyteller who has been writing and telling stories for many groups, including UU congregations, as I recently found out, for over 30 years. Diane and I met in a sandbox playing, otherwise known as a writer's workshop, in which we create pieces on the spot and look for the best in each other's work. And even though it is writing work, in a lot of ways, it is work of the spirit and work of the heart. And we spend many Tuesday evenings with our host and mentor, storyteller Jay O'Callahan, and he launches many of our sessions with a reminder to just let ourselves play. In her work, Diane takes this call to play very seriously. Her stories are often based on folktales and myths, especially those that tell us of the deep meaning we can find in nature. She goes all in for her performances, becoming her characters and setting scenes with word, gesture, and voice. In her creative process, play is an opening, an ability to take on different perspectives through it all. And it's about a search for meaning and something that can give us renewed purpose to our lives. So I'm very eager to hear what else she has to say today about this. She's a generous playmate. She never hogs all the fun. Instead, she pulls us into the world of imagination. And in so doing, she enhances our own sense making and potential to respond creatively to the so-called real world around us. Today, Diane will treat us to her thoughts on the importance of play through the lens of a life lived in storytelling. And later in the summer, she'll be on playgrounds all over the state and New York as she tells stories for libraries. So we just are very glad to have her here in our Zoom ground. So for now, Diane, please come out and play.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. Thank you. Once upon a time, there lived a young Czech girl and her mother. And although they were very poor, that young girl was always happy. She had such a light heart. She never had time to go into the village or play with any friends. There was always so much work to do. Every morning, she had to drive the goats up into the hills to find new pasture. And while she was there, her mother didn't want her to be idle. No, while she was there, she had to spin a large bundle of flaxen fibers into linen thread. She had so much flax to spin, she couldn't even wind it around a spindle. She had to wind it around her head, and using that strange hat, she would drive the goats along. Sometimes she had to travel very far to find new pasture. And so it was one day, the girl found herself on a gentle slope near a quiet old birch grove. As the goats were munching on the soft grass, the girl set to work. Taking the flaxen fibers, attaching them to the spindle, she set the spindle spinning on the ground, tying in more flaxen fibers, spinning and singing her favorite spinning song. Už je ta láska, už je pryč. Už je ta láska, už je pryč. Bevoluje malenko, moja zlata panenko, nie nic. As she was spinning that flax into thread, she suddenly noticed someone watching her from among the birch trees. It was a tall, slender woman dressed all in white. And as she leaned towards the girl, a soft breeze came over her. Your song is so joyful, said the woman. It reminds me of when I was young. Tell me, do you like to dance? Dance? I think so. I never tried. Has no one ever taught you? Come, let me teach you to dance. Oh, no, I can't. I have all this flax to spin into thread. It takes all day. Well, whether it is flax or whether it is thread, it will be here tomorrow, but maybe I will not. Come, let us dance. And so those two danced in and out among the birch trees so quickly, but so lightly the grass was not trampled or bent. And as they danced, their long hair wrapped itself around the birch trees and left strong black lines. Trup the trubu sprasov vierni, sami so szlechetnie živí, atli dejt neprvej, ježití chýšločí, v toplem se množí, takto stroje, draby stroje, bezmieszkani, pożegnani, pomnite, bezmieszkani, pożegnani. The girl went home that day, skipping and singing along. But when she saw her mother, she remembered she hadn't spun the flax, and she hid the half-spun spindle. The next morning when she left for the birch grove, she had that day's flax wound round her head, plus what was left from the day before. She left extra early. She was determined that day she would spin all of that flax into thread. As soon as she got to the birch grove, she set to work, tying the flaxen strand onto the spindle, setting it spinning, and singing her song. Už je ta láska, už je pryč, už je ta... Oh, she dropped her work. There was the lady in white. Come, shall we dance? Oh, I'd like to dance, but look at all the work that I have to do today. I don't even know how I'll finish it. If you dance with me, said the woman in white, I will help you in your work forever after. Wonderful, said the girl. And so those two danced in and out among the birch trees so quickly but so lightly the grass was not trampled or bent. And as they danced, their long hair wrapped itself around the birch trees and left fine black lines. Trup de trubu sa so wierni, sami so szlechet nie dziwi, atli de nie prwej, jeśli di hiszłości, w dobrem temności, tak to sporadia, drabę storia, bez mieszkania, fodziana nie pomnite, bez mieszkania, fodziana nie te. Oh no! The girl suddenly started racing away and chasing the goats ahead of her down the hill. The sun was setting. She was already late. When she got home, there was her mother waiting for her. My daughter, where have you been? I was so worried about you. Now, give me the thread. You didn't give it to me yesterday either. I don't have any thread. Did you lose it? No, I didn't spin today, Mother. I didn't spin yesterday. I wanted to dance. My daughter, you must not dance. We are poor. We must work. I know. The next day when that girl left for the birch grove, she had that day's flax wound round her head, plus what was from the day before and the day before that, and she wobbled her way to the birch grove, leaving the goats in front of her. She couldn't even look up and see how beautiful the day was. And there at the birch grove, there was the woman in white, holding out her hand. Will you dance? Dance? Look at me. I can't even walk with all this work that I have to do. I will help you. Didn't I say I would help you? I can do it so easily. She reached out her hands and took all that work off the girl, all that burden off the girl, and put it up on a long birch limb that reached out like long tapering fingers, and spinning and swaying together they spun. Ujeta, laska, ujia preach. Ujeta, laska, ujia preach. Pewaloje malenko, moja zlata panenko, nie nic. There it was, a spindle of the finest linen thread. Come, one last dance I will teach you. Oslan jest poandie. In and out they danced among the birch trees. Ye mushtoi mano Gabriel, like the wind through the trees, so light and free. Tak moje meno niego, like a dream, but one that the girl would never forget. Here, I have a gift for you. Now don't open it until you get home. I won't. Goodbye. Goodbye, birch lady. But as she was walking home, she thought, I wonder what the birch lady has given me. She likes me very much. And she opened up the basket. Oh, it's only dried up old birch leaves. She started to pull them out and just scatter them on the ground, but she thought, no, I'm going to keep them. They'll remind me of the birch lady and they'll make good bedding for my goats. When she got home, her mother was waiting for the thread. Here you are, Mother. My daughter, how could you have spun thread this fine? Well, I had some help. there's this tall lady, see? She lives in the birch grove. She dresses all in white. My daughter, you have seen the spirit of the birch grove. I hope you were nice to her. I hope you were kind to her. Oh, yes. She likes me very much. She gave me a gift. She gave you a present. Let me see. Oh, mother. It's only dried up birch leaves. Let me see. Together they opened up the basket and looked inside. In the darkness, and with time, every leaf had turned into a leaf of pure gold. Vi klara sig, sila je ho. I just love how that story celebrates childhood and children. And where would we be without their surprise in our lives? I remember one morning I was lying in bed and I didn't really want to get up because it was my birthday and I was getting older. And I looked at the clock and I was thinking, what time is it? And all I could think was, it's 40 o'clock. It is 40 o'clock. And just then the phone rang and I picked it up and I heard, hello, Auntie, happy birthday. So happy. And I thought, it's okay. It's okay. If I wasn't 40 o'clock, I wouldn't have this lovely little presence on the other end of the line. So delighted to wish me a happy birthday. It was my niece, Amy. My niece, Amy, my older sister's daughter, if you walked into her room, her bedroom, it was filled with rainbows. She had a rainbow splashed across her dresser. She had rainbows playing with flowers on her wall. All of her sham pillows were 3D plumped up rainbows all over her bed. And I said to her one time, I said, Amy, how many rainbows have you seen? And she said, outside? I was like, yeah, outside, the outside rainbows. And she said, I never saw one. And then she went back to playing with her doll sister. Her doll sister, Amy, like all children, like all people, we're creative in our play. We find what we need in our play. And Amy really wanted a sibling. She wanted a sister so bad, a sibling of any kind, and there was none. And so her doll was Sister. And Sister went everywhere with her and went through all the joys and all of the difficulties of life, her sister. I've seen this problem solving when we're given the open world of play so many times. I am often lucky to go into different schools for about 4 weeks, sometimes 6 weeks, and work with young children on making up their own stories. And they always find a way to try to solve things that but might not be resolved, find that happily ever after ending. I was working with some second graders one time, and they were so excited to write down their stories once they'd finally generated them that they didn't even want to go to recess. It was amazing. And they were all writing down their stories. And I walked up and down the aisles because I was a little concerned. This one sweet girl, Betty, had been being teased a lot by her classmates, including the one that sat right behind her. And really, it was very difficult on her. And I wanted to make sure nothing like that was happening. So I, the storyteller, was patrolling as they were all busily writing. And I stopped by Betty's desk and I looked down to see what Betty was writing. And I saw that her story was The Bird and the Bunny by Betty. And I thought, oh my gosh, she's so sweet. She's so innocent. Oh, how is she ever going to, manage, the bird and the bunny? She's so adorable and sweet. And just then Betty looked up at me and she said, Miss Ekholm. She always called me Miss Ekholm. Miss Ekholm, how do you spell revenge? And I suddenly realized that Betty had found the power of the pen and she was working stuff out in her story. It was amazing. So there's all this transformation that can happen in story and in play where we're finding what we need. I know when I was growing up, my favorite toy wasn't one of those things that was so completely concrete and identifiable, like Monopoly. I got to make a lot of money, or Chutes and Ladders. Woo, woo. And it wasn't even, the dolls that I was looking for. I was going to get the cookout set, or I was going to get the doctor set. My favorite toy was the old dead tree. And that's what it was. It was old. It was dead. It was a tree. And that was it. And it was lying down right out into the pasture land where it'd fallen. But it was everything. It was everything. It was a spaceship. It was Lost in Space. It was Swiss Family Robinson. And we played all the different roles. We could imagine whoever we were. And if anybody new showed up, they could negotiate what they wanted to be. And we were learning about ourselves and trying out different ways of being, like even a hero. I still think to this day, my inner hero is modeled after Mighty Mouse. He would put his little mouse fist in the air to be, here I come to save the day. And I just thought it was amazing. And I would take my navy blue, soft button-up sweater, and I would not button it up. No, I would tie the sleeves right around my neck, and I would go flying out into the playground. Here I come to save the day. And even today, if I've got a challenging day and I open up my closet, I couldn't fit into that navy blue sweater, but I have a red flannel tunic that has 2 bears on it, and they're standing upright. And people may not know it when I walk in a room with my bears on, but I know it. I'm here to save the day. We have to embrace what we have, all these hidden elements of play in our closet. Maybe some people say, I've got a power tie. Well, don't, put it on like it's my power tie. It is a power tie. And we really are going to take that childhood play and keep it going. And even sometimes the drudgery of work, the burden, that hat that we can't even look up and see how beautiful the day was. I loved to watch my mother clean. I mean, because my mother transformed cleaning. My father was in the Navy. Everything had to be spick and span every day. My mother didn't like cleaning, but she loved John Philip Sousa. She would get ready to clean, and it would be John Philip Sousa, not the Birch lady, holding out his hand as she put on the record, and ba 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 ba. She would dust and dust and dust and dust and dust a little over here, and vacuum, 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 vac a little over here, and boom ba doom ba symbol dum ga doom a dust and boom ba doom doom. I mean, it was amazing. She got her exercise that way too, but boom, she had the best drudgery buster. Music, song. But Amy's mother, my sister Sue, she wasn't able to get the song. She was so burdened. I mean, she was a single mom and she was working very, very hard. And, it was all work, and it was all the judgment, she felt the judgment on her all the time. And isn't that what kills play? Am I doing it right? It's serious, right? Am I doing it right? No openness there. And Amy would pick up on it in her play. There was one time she was driving her doll sister around the living room in a pretend car, and she was going, emergency, emergency, emergency. And I said, Amy, what's the emergency? And she said, sister has to go to the bathroom and we're not there yet, emergency. Every summer I'd take Amy up to Boston and we would have dawdle days. We didn't go anywhere. We didn't do anything. We dawdled. And we'd walk down to nearby Jamaica Pond, and we wouldn't try to go all the way around the pond. We didn't have a destination. We'd just dawdle, and she'd find a stone and show it to sister, or an acorn and look at the little hat. But one day when we were at the pond, it started raining. We didn't have an umbrella. We didn't have a rain jacket, and I saw that look in Amy's eyes. Emergency, emergency, emergency. And I even started feeling some emergency. Oh my gosh, she's going to get wet. What if she gets a cold, you know? And suddenly there was an opening. Suddenly it flashed into my mind, this memory I had. And I said, Amy, do you know what I saw Uncle Tommy do one time? And she said, what? I said, one time, it was the middle of a rainstorm. It was pouring rain, and he ran out from the porch. He ran right out into the middle of the pouring rain, and he danced around in a circle. And she said, really? And I said, really? And she said, how? And I said, like this. And I went round in a circle, and she said, like this. And she went round, I said, like this. And we started laughing, and the sun was peeking out a little bit. And as I went over and I pressed the walk light as we were about to cross the street, Amy wasn't looking across the street at where we were supposed to be going, at the destination, at the goal. She was looking up at the rain, and suddenly she said, Auntie, she said, what's that? And out of the mist came colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, in an arc, a light-filled arc all across the sky. I said, oh, Amy, you're so lucky. It's a rainbow. And then just to top it off, I saw what I've only seen a handful of times, another rainbow ghosting underneath. You know, I feel like she's always there, that invisible presence. Or he's always there. It's always there. Something's always there to open for us. The spirit of play, the spirit of joy, the spirit of song, the spirit of dance, holding out its hand. And I always try to remember, if you dance with me, said the lady in white, I will help you in your work ever after.
Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight.
When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right.
'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be.
Now for our closing words. Live boldly, laugh loudly, love truly.
Play as often as you can.
Work as smart as you are able.
Share your heart as deeply as you can reach.
As you awaken, may your dreams greet you by name, and may you answer yes.
As you walk, may all your angels gather at your shoulders, and may you confidently know they stand with you.
As you rest, may all your endeavors know contentment and peace.
May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. And thanks to everyone who has brought the service to you today, to Peter, to Dustin, to Elaine, to our committee that created this service, and especially to Diane Edgecombe and to Carolyn D. Cristofano, who brought the story to us today. We'll go directly to breakouts after our closing music.
Above the sky, below the sea, anywhere you really want to be, that's how far you can go. That's how much you can know. You're free. Just look around inside of you. It's deep enough to dream all of it true. That's how much you can go. That's how much you will know. You're free. Free. More free than a feeling. More free than a place. Higher than any ceiling in space. That's how far you can go. That's how much you can know. You're free. More free than a feeling. More free than a place. Higher than any ceiling in space. That's how far you can go. That's how much you can know. You're free. Free. That's all I got. Nothing left to say. Okay to leave, it's okay to stay. That's how far you can go. That's how much you can know. You're free. 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 That was an awesome song.